Hello Aquarius, great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Aquarius.
Guys, this month. As most of you are aware, I have taken like a 6-month break in the past, mainly because my main job was very overwhelming, and I feel like I have a pretty solid foundation right now, so I have a little bit of free time, so I'm going to continue to keep up with these readings as best as I can, and I will aim for, just a round of reading, just like one video for each sign per month, mainly because of time constraints, okay? But I do want to keep in the loop. I want to also share these videos and just, see what's going on with all the signs. So first of all, when I was shuffling out the spread, I saw 3 images. You had a lot of images that came through, and there were like 3 main ones that I wanted to talk. He's got like a little, animal skin pouch of water, okay? It's depleted, so he's like going towards the bank of the river and filling up water into his little animal skin pouch. And he's doing it in a very slow, deliberate way, as if, there's no rush. We're in a safe place. We can kind of like put our gears down, get our tent up, and, we're going to camp out possibly for the next few days. So there is really no rush to his voyage down this, to the watering hole and to fill up the pouch. So he leans over and he just, fills up the pouch. Then he screws the top of the pouch. Then he heads back to camp. As he's heading back to camp, he's looking at the wounded soldiers and all the people that might have succumbed to, maladies and illnesses and ailments or whatever. And they're in their tents with their family. Other people are taking care of them. And he's just walking around taking stock of the environment, okay? So I feel like that's what you guys are pretty much doing for the rest of this month. So that's the first image. The second image, I see these 3 men. They're like sheep herders. They have animals like sheep all around them, and they're looking at the sky, and it's like nighttime, and there's a giant star twinkling in the distance. And one of the men says, we need to follow that star. So immediately I was thinking of like the 3 wise men and the astrologers, and it's like the coming of something amazing. So we need to reach that destination, okay? We need to look at the stars to kind of guide our way so that we're on our truthful path, and we are also, there's something amazing, spectacular at the destination, okay? So I'm sensing this sense of like anxiousness and this sense of like excitement. There is something out there, okay? There's something out there that fits the criteria. We're being divinely guided towards a situation, a person, a place that is going to fit everything that we have been dreaming of and everything that we've been hoping for, okay? And then we have the third image, and it's a little bit strange. I see a wolf. Okay, it's a wolf. It has broken into camp. It's scoping around, and it's got like sheep's clothing, like a cloak that's made out of sheepskin or sheep fur or wool, and it's draped over this wolf, and this wolf has infiltrated the camp. It's pretending to be something that it's not, right? So it's infiltrated the camp, looking around, feeling very, very smug. Okay, so those are the 3 images. And let me just explain a little bit about these images, because what I'm sensing is there's a sense of calmness, I feel, in all 3 images that is washing over this entire reading. And I'm sensing as well, for many of you, the struggle is over, okay? The struggle to get where you are right now, okay? I feel like for many of you, you have overcome many obstacles and against all odds have made it, okay? And I feel for many of you, this is like your professional career, pretty much. I also feel in relationships as well. You're in a space where you're taking care of yourself, as you should. The energy needs to be directed at inner healing It needs to be directed at inner emotional and spiritual and, whatever physical development first, before we can reach that state of Zen or that state of peace, before we can accurately open ourselves up to what the universe wants to deliver to us. The past few months have been like one thing after another. Things were just happening to you. You just felt like, you were in the thick of it. You were in the whirlwind of events just happening to you. You felt like your sense of freedom and your sense of free will and your sense of, being able to exact certain outcomes have been taken away. You felt like you're swept along in this riptide, and it was almost like you were struggling to stay above water. Okay, for many of you, there might have been a lot of financial obligations, like expenditures or expenses, self-imposed or coming from your external environment, what have you, where you just felt like, oh, I already pay those bills, but why are there more bills? Okay. And then for others of you, it's like, I already pay that contractor. Why is there more, why are there more hidden fees that I hadn't anticipated? And then for others, this is in a work environment where one thing after another, you feel like you've mastered something, and then something else would like come along to throw a wrench in the works, and then you have to relearn the ropes. And then for others, I feel like you're in an environment where you're very strong and firmly rooted, but your work environment requires more flexibility. Okay? It requires you to be a little bit more versatile, a little bit more, this is your energy, a little bit more like malleable and bendable, and just, allow for extenuating circumstances, allow for things not going the way exactly that you want. And I feel like this flexibility is what's coming in for this month. This sense of like, I can't really control everything, and I don't want things to be too rigid. I'm just gonna, go with the tide and not push against the tide, because every time you're pushing, I almost feel like you're realizing now that if things are meant to be, it shouldn't be so hard. So when I feel like I'm beating my head against a brick wall, or if I feel like I have to push for a certain outcome, it might not be the right time. So I can push and push and push all I want. I'm not going to get that outcome until the time is right. Or whenever I am pushing so hard for a specific outcome, it means I'm desperately wanting that specific outcome. My blinders are on. I only see that outcome. I only want that outcome. And life is not meant to be that way. You're struggling immensely on a spiritual level, and you finally realize that it's not the way that it's meant to be. So that's what I'm sensing here. That man coming to the water's edge to retrieve some water, walking back to camp, looking at the carnage all around him, looking at the aftermath of a situation and realizing that, it didn't have to be like this. But now we're in a space of calmness. We're going to be camped out here. Everyone's going to recover. There might be some casualties along the way, but, that's collateral damage. But life goes on, right? So the first card here, we have here the Five of Swords, okay? The Five of Swords is damage done. We can't really walk back from this, okay? So what I'm getting from this card, and normally I don't get this, is this sense of like laying down your weapons. It's over. Laying down the swords, letting the walls come down, no longer fighting, and coming into a sense of like spiritual peace, okay? Where a situation, it's really, really easy to get you stuck in a cycle of arguments, a cycle of like power struggles and pushing back, and like wanting to, I want to say as well, like control how things go, control a situation. And I feel like this energy is very much you, Aquarius, because the way you come across, rigidity, okay? This is like being very, very clear with the laser focus. You know what you want. But in the process, it's almost like I'm willing to cut to get what I want, okay? And then not making room for, not making allowances, not being flexible, not being not being open to other outcomes, not being open to like an alternative way of doing, not being open to like all the other factors that might affect the situation that you're not truly aware of. So I see a situation here where you are divinely guided to kind of like, break away from this cycle, not let this cycle have its hold on you, and not letting conflict with another person affect your emotional well-being. Okay, so I feel like there's a situation here. It's done and over with, and we are still a little bit anxious, so we're clinging onto that sword, and thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna have the sword sharpened. I'm gonna have the chainmail on. I'm gonna have my gear on just in case. But I feel like it's very troublesome, and it's very emotionally, it's just not a great place to be on guard all the time, to be like thinking about, just in case, just in case. So there is a situation here that you are definitely, laying to rest, and you're realizing that its hold on you was not good for your emotional health, and you're letting it go. For some of you, I feel like this is arguments with a significant other. This person might not be in a relationship with you anymore, and it's just like the the battle is won at great, 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 great cost. Okay, it's almost like it's like you can win it, you can win the battle, but you might not be able to win the war. And so if you're looking at things in a long-term trajectory, it's like all this struggle and all this fighting and all of this, negativity, at the end of the day, it doesn't really nurture you or help you grow in a meaningful way. And so you're opting out, okay? You're just like, okay, I'm putting the swords down. I'm putting the swords down, and I'm just going to need to do to heal others or to heal myself. So that goes in. I almost feel like, so that message ties in with the first image that I saw, which is the man by the river. Okay, and in a way, the man by the river is actually very much the Aquarian energy. Okay, taking knowledge from this water and pouring it over yourself and sharing it with others, and feeling a sense of like calmness coming over you. Okay, this is greatly about healing. It's greatly about aspirations and dreams, and being able to fulfill those things in your life, but more so individual healing yourself and working on yourself and focusing your energy back on yourself rather than externalizing it and feeling like things are working against me, but taking that energy and just internalizing it and just figure out, I have control over what I do. So I'm going to start focusing on myself. Okay, which is great. And this is something that you really, really need. I just feel like the past 4 months have been very tiring for many of you. I don't know why. I feel like there were a lot of ups and downs. There were very high highs though, and you might have been feeling really happy. But I just felt like on a physical, emotional level, it wasn't very restful. And you're kind of like reaching the end of that, and you're going into a phase where you're hibernating, you're happy, you're safe, well protected, and you're focusing on a lot more on your goals and your dreams and what you need to do for yourself, okay? This doesn't mean that, you're like living in a vacuum or living on an island or living in a bubble. It just means there are things that I need to do for myself, and I'm going to focus my energy there. Um, the second image, seeing that North Star, it is about your higher calling. It's where you're supposed to go, okay? So through the spread, I see a major maturation when it comes to your career, okay? So let me just explain a little bit here. Maturation. We start out as a Knight of Wands, okay? This is someone who's very, very ambitious, okay? Someone who's very like, it's like wanderlust, okay? Someone who loves to travel, loves to learn about different cultures, loves to explore the world. And the fire energies are self-starters, okay? No one guided them. No one told them, you should do this, you should do that. And if anyone knows, the one thing about Aquarius is we don't like it when people tell us what to do. in a perverse way, we might do the opposite just to, kind of like put them in their place. Like, who are you to tell me what to do? And so I feel like this is someone who's very much, independent, okay, at a very young age, independent when it comes to their opinions, to the things that they do, and also like they like to do things and not tell other people. They don't need other people to bounce ideas off of. This is someone who's like a little bit impulsive as well. And I feel like you might have started out, the past few months kind of like this. Let me just do that and see what happens. Let me just push that button and see, what it affects, okay? Let me just get involved with that person and see where things go, even though there might be red flags or indicators that they are not the right ones. This thing in the background, okay, this woman, this is like your kind of like your intuition. She's holding a torch. So I feel like there is somebody that could be carrying a torch for you, okay? They've been in, right under your nose this whole time, okay? Carrying a torch, so that basically means someone who really likes you. Someone who the words I'm hearing is, they've got the hots for you, or they really, really like you. They're always there. They're always in the background. They're constantly in the landscape. And your attention has been diverted elsewhere, okay? You were thinking about greener pastures. You were thinking about greener lands. You were thinking about more like, the next exciting place, the next exciting experience. But this whole time, this person has been in the background. This is also your intuition telling you, and I feel like for some of you, there is a person there's a person here that is going to be announcing their presence. Either they're physically coming to your home, coming in for a visit, and I see like it might be this person here coming to your home. You're inviting them into your inner sanctum. This is someone who might be, darker skin, darker complexion, someone who is considered very classically beautiful or very, very handsome. This is someone who's very financially stable. They have, they have property. They have a very, very well-paying job. They're just, they're a good caretaker. They're a good homemaker as well. Okay, so whoever it is, whatever genders you're dating, I feel like this is someone that really meets all of your checklists, meets all of your criteria. The Pentacle suit indicates this is someone who's very reserved. And so they don't make these offers very lightly. So they have been looking at you, scanning you, kind of like thinking, turning over in their head constantly, is the Aquarius person like in it to win it? Are they gonna, like take off at the first sign of trouble, or are they going to be there for me for the long haul? So I feel like there's someone has been really, really thinking about you, wanting to make an offer for longevity. The Pentacle suit is about family, it's about unity, it's about sharing resources, it's about trusting the other person enough that you will, share bank accounts, you will join up together as a team, work together as a unit to build something of great value. Okay, so I feel like there's somebody here that is making their presence known. They might be coming to see you. They might be expressing their feelings, their emotions towards you. And I feel like in the past, there might have been a lot of red flags. Either they are seeing the red flags about you, or you are seeing the red flags about them. And this is greatly about intuition as well. Okay, guidance. Okay, you're looking back at a situation and you're just like, oh, the red flags were there all along. I should have seen it. Or this person is seeing you as someone who is very exciting, very brave, courageous, exciting, moral, ethical as well. Fire is about, that sense of what's right and what's wrong. Okay. So someone who's very ethical, and they see these things about you, but they also feel like you're going to be here today, gone tomorrow. And so they might have hesitated or have been reticent about making this offer to you. And then we see you maturing, okay, from the Page of Wands to the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands, this is someone who goes out into the world. They want to help people. They see injustices in the world and they want to roll up their sleeves and do something about it. This is someone who's very, very courageous, okay? So what's happening here is we see this person on their horse, looking for, damsel in distress, looking for distress signals in other people, wanting to help, wanting to learn from others, wanting to experience, the exotic, okay? And then they're coming across this caravan of people. They look like traders. They look like people who are also very well traveled. And then seeing these people kind of stops this person in their tracks, okay? So what I'm sensing as well is for many of you, the past few years have been about that armchair approach, okay? When is it going to be my turn? When am I going to go out and explore again? When am I going to see broad horizons and meet exotic people and see exotic locales? And then I feel like, just this past few months, this has been happening for you. Travel, movement, meeting people from all walks of life, having a really tremendously amazing time. Okay? So I feel like you're definitely maturing. You have these experiences under your belt. You're learning from other people who are also very like-minded. You're learning about people from different cultures, and you're encountering possibly a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life, but also culturally, they are very different from you. It's like a stranger in a new land, being able to explore a new territory. And I feel like many of you have been in this situation where you're dealing with a lot of people, you're learning a lot, you're understanding that, there might be cultural nuances that affects the way in which someone could express their emotions, someone could express, how they feel. It's like you're learning a lot from other people about how different upbringings or different cultural practices could affect the coming together of people, can affect misunderstandings, can also enrich an experience, okay? And then what we end up with here is the King of Wands, okay? So this is pretty much a lot of maturation. This is like yearning for the exotic, having experienced it, and then, going back to your lair and just be like, I'm homesick. I need to be home. I need to be, stable. I need to settle down. I need a place where I can sit and just take in what I've already learned, set down roots, and have other people, that I care about with me. So I feel like you're coming into the realization that, no one exists in a bubble, or the experience of bouncing around, it can take its toll on you. It can put barriers and walls around the people that you care about. Okay, so while you're off on your adventure, I feel like whatever life experiences you have gained, there are also great opportunity costs, and these opportunity costs might be the leaving behind relationships, or not being available for major milestones in people's lives that are really important to you. For example, seeing like if you have siblings, seeing them change careers, seeing them graduate and not being able to be there, okay? Just because of you have to travel. And then for others, it's almost like you're coming back home to visit, and then you're not able to reconnect with your friends because you've been away for so long. So you would think that things will pick up where they left off, but then the distance has also created an emotional and also a spiritual rift between two people, you and them, and things like that. Okay, so I definitely feel like there's an element here about things coming back full circle. I've been there, I've done that, and now I want a place to call home. So there's this sense of nostalgia for. I'm getting an anxiousness when it comes to having to pick up and travel again and not knowing what the next destination is going to be. There's excitement, but there's also a lot of trepidation. And so I feel like you're in a space where you do want to settle down, okay? You're definitely a lot more selective. You're a lot more selective. Like, these are the things I'm willing to do, and these are the things that I don't want. So you're at your peak when it comes to your ability to bargain for the things that you want. Okay, so I feel like that maturation process is all about. It is all about having to go through these experiences, okay, the myriad of experiences, so that you know its effect on you, and you know its effect on the people around you. And after you've gone through all those experiences, for you to come back to a place of safety and to figure out that, you know what, the travel bug is gone. I don't need that anymore. I'm ready and prepared, and I'm at a really good place now professionally where I can settle down. So I feel like the travel, the new experiences might have been stepping stone. It's like a career booster, either for your resume or either for your current job. Whatever it was, it helped you get to this place where you're very, very stable in your professional life, so that you can figure out, what do I want to do from now? Okay. With this energy, this is someone who is in a position of power. Okay. They're either guiding others, they're training others, or they are managing other people. For some of you, you might be dealing with somebody like this, okay? So for some of you, this could be like a romantic partner. They're kind of like in the top of their profession. They have a lot to offer, but they also have a lot to lose, okay? And I almost sense like there is a situation here where this person might feel that you're unpredictable. They want safety and comfort, and they want to settle down, and they want to, firmly plant those roots and be sedentary for a little while. They see you as somebody who might be, who's definitely their equal match. Very intelligent. They love to talk to you, to pick your brains. They like the intellectual rapport. They like the debate. They're looking at you. You're looking at them. And it's like no one is willing to show their cards. No one is willing to, make that first move like, this is how I feel. And then the other person would reciprocate. I feel like the feelings are there. There's great chemistry and great passion. But I feel like it's kind of like at an impasse or a stalemate, mainly because both parties might want different things. This person, I feel, is more willing to settle down, whereas this person is still like, I'm not really sure. I still need a little bit of bouncing around. So you might be dealing with someone who might want that, the whole 9 yards, like the house, the white picket fence, the kids and the family. But they're seeing you as a relationship potential. But there are things about you that screams out that you're too independent. And I feel like it might, not that is a turnoff to them. They like your sense of independence. They wouldn't change a thing about you. But I also feel like you're so unorthodox. And in their eyes, you're so unpredictable that they don't know how to approach you. And I also feel like they feel like you say whatever's on your mind. You don't really care. And they might not feel like you're diplomatic enough when it comes to your words. So I'm not going to tell you, Aquarius, to change anything that you do, okay? Because you are special and unique in your own way. But I feel like this person is looking for someone who's a little bit more censored, okay? So that's not to say you should change anything about yourself, okay? But I just feel like that's what's coming in from the other person. The last image that I'm seeing here is, the wolf in sheep's clothing, okay? There's somebody in your life, and I'm not able to pick up the signs here, okay? So I feel like you're dealing with potentially a lot of signs. I don't feel like it's a bad person, okay? I don't feel it's a bad person, but I feel like it's somebody who might be like a social chameleon, okay? They fit in with whoever they're with, okay? So for example, if they're with a group of people who love bowling, even though they don't like bowling, they'll say like, oh, I love to bowl. And then they're with they're just very amorphous, okay? So they will kind of like take the shape of whatever container they're in. So it's someone who's a little bit of a social chameleon. And I also feel this is someone who puts a lot of emphasis on wealth and prestige. And one of the ways in which they try to impress you is, hey, look at all this money I've got. Look at this cool job I've got. Look at my new car. And Aquarius, we know that we don't really care about any of those things, right? And so this person's approach towards you is they're doing the wrong things to impress you. I feel like there's definitely somebody coming to visit. They want to impress. They're smitten by you. And then I also feel like they're giving you, for example, if you're an Aquarius female, they're giving you what they think stereotypically women want. If you're an Aquarius male, this and if you're an Aquarius male, this person is coming in and they're giving you the whole spiel of what they think a stereotypical male would want. So I'm sensing here this is someone who is not very spiritually evolved, and they're not a bad person. I feel like they definitely carry a torch for you. They really care about you. They like you, and they want that longevity with you. Keep in mind, this is for the month of October, so this might be somebody new that you're meeting. There is definitely cultural differences, okay? I'm seeing like a lot of interracial dating, and I see that a lot with the fire signs. Fire expands, okay, and and I'm sensing a very strong like Sagittarian vibe here. So I feel like you're dealing with someone who's different from you, either racially, ethnically, or linguistically, but like they're trying to impress. They're putting on airs. I don't feel like they're lying about their resources. I just feel like they're hyping all these things that you don't think to be very important, and in a way you might feel like they're a little bit shallow, okay? There is definitely depth to this person. So give it a little bit more time, be a little bit more patient with this person, because you're going to realize that what it's not all what it seems, okay? So the wolf in sheep's clothing analogy is not like to say, beware. It's to say like at first this person might seem a little bit superficial because they keep talking about how much money they make and things like that, and you don't really care. But I feel like there's more underneath that is worth exploring, I feel. And there's more underneath that can be that's there's like more depth, more substance once they feel comfortable around you. Okay? So I feel like it's a union that can work out really well. We're talking a lot about, taking a little bit of a rest, assessing a situation, but also, if you've been dealing with a lot of conflict, and what I have here, Five of Swords, the end of a conflict. Seven of Wands. This is like a lot of things coming at you, and you kind of have to fend for yourself, okay? Not in a spirit of aggression, because I feel like, the conflict is over. And so it is really important to kind of like internalize that, okay? A lot of the times too, when we are put in constantly like tenuous or stressful situation, our body, produces chemicals when it comes to that flight or fight response. So we're constantly like inundating our bodies with a lot of adrenaline. And so it's not a good state to be. We might not make rational decisions. We might feel like there might be like a imagined slight, okay? And so it's really important for you to realize, hey, it's done, it's over with. I need to put my wands down. I need to like, let them come towards me and present their case. And I need to break away from this pattern where I'm constantly, feeling attacked, or I'm constantly feeling like that adrenaline rush, that fight or flight response, and operating from a space where I'm not making, the best optimal decisions for myself. And so the advice here for you guys is definitely the Four of Swords, okay? This is sort of like turning off your brain, turning off your mind, just living in the moment, and not really think about things, or not really, projecting onto things, or like, okay, take it at face value, because I feel like whatever needs to be unearthed, like that wolf in sheep's clothing imagery, it's not going to fool you, okay? So I feel like many of you need to really focus on, taking better care of yourself, getting enough sleep, getting enough rest, and being in a situation, especially where you're not going to feel constantly like embattled or embroiled in a battle, okay? Let me see if there's anything else that is coming through. I feel like career is going really, really well. There might be speaking engagements for some of you. There might be travel opportunities for others of you. Traveling to meet someone. I'm seeing this caravan. So like it could be like traders or people who are like business associates, okay? This is people who might be interested in trading you. Trading for something, or like bargain trading is what I'm sensing. So you might be in that type of wholesale, or like doing some type of merchandising exchange with another person, and you're going to potentially show them what you have. And then for others of you, I feel like there might have been a lot of like disruptions and changes in the work environment. Changing of the guards is what I'm sensing, okay? Changing roles, changing of the guard, changing expectations, or like having to wear many, many hats, having to be flexible. One day you do it like this, the next day you have to do it like that, and that could like take its toll on you, because as much as you like change and excitement, you're still a fixed sign, and you have like a process in which you conduct your workflow, right? So that things so that you don't forget things. So you have like a procedure, and you follow that procedure. So if somebody changes things up on you at the very last minute, it can be very disruptive, okay? You like to be the one that implements change, but when change is happening, and especially if it happens in a constant way, or in a very nonsensical way, I don't feel like you welcome the change. And I feel like this is the month where you just kind of have to, I guess, like adapt the new way of doing, not question it, and kind of roll with the punches, be a lot more flexible and lenient and things like that. Career is going really, really well. Many of you are feeling like you are a very vital. It's like the whole reading, I'm sensing money comes in in droves, okay? So financially you're in a good space, but the readings, all the cards kind of converge upon this card, and this is the card about hope, inspiration, being a star, being very visible to other people. Your conduct, your performance, your teaching, even the way in which you carry yourself, the way in which you conduct your business is being highly publicized in a very good way, okay? So for many of you, you might have felt like, oh, this is where I'm meant to be. This is the right work environment for me. Or this is the job that I'm meant to, the role that I'm meant to occupy. You're feeling like, I don't have to bounce around anymore. I'm very comfortable. I can sit down. I can lay down roots, because this is where I'm meant to be. Okay, so that's really, really good. I definitely feel the whole imagery about somebody carrying a torch for you here. This message keeps coming back. It keeps coming back through these two cards. Take a moment, okay? Like I said, don't jump right in. This person wants to impress. And so they're going to say things to impress. And I feel like you need to dig a little bit deeper. There's a different person underneath. There's a different person underneath. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to work out. It just feels to me like there's more than meets the eye, and you have to do your own little, dissection or little research before you get involved with this, okay? Especially if it's a new person that you've never dated before. You might have known, but you might not have dated before. I keep seeing somebody